Alright, guys, here we go. Let's jump into another rabbit hole, let's call it. Um, we're going to focus on the World Economic Forum. You guys heard of it? I'm going to break this down into sections so the videos ain't quite so long. So maybe if you're interested in a single topic, you can just watch that video. I'm going to apologize because usually I highlight what I want to cover in these articles and stuff I find, but I had to find a lot of the stuff on the dark web because the search engines on the regular web won't bring them up because they don't want you to know about this. So I'm going to apologize. I can't use highlight with this dark web browser. But the first one's going to be, we're just going to meet who's the World Economic Forum, who they are, basically what they plan to do, what they want to do. At the end of the series, I hope it opens your eyes as much as it opened my eyes as to what's happening, not alone in the United States, just in the world in general, because this is a whole world thing they want to do, but specifically in the United States, you will notice why we are headed the way we are headed, or the way they want us to be headed, and it's all by plan. It opened my eyes big time. Okay, to start, I'm just going to go over quick a few things, some stuff they want to accomplish, some stuff they want to do. Then I'll show a short video. The video they showed, the opening video they showed at what was it? They were in Davos, yeah. It's a short opening video. I'll give you some context on what they were going over. A lot of the videos that covers discussions are too long. They're 40 minutes, an hour. If you look them up, you may be able to find them. I just going to kind of narrow this down into small sections just to give you an overview of everything, but I could probably spend hours just on the topic of some of the stuff that I found. Okay, let's start. The pandemic was a ruse to usher in a new system of global centralized governance by unelected leaders, the so-called Great Reset. A lot of us probably agree on that, the way it was handled. The founder, executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, has emerged as the front man of the Great Reset in the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which has unmistakable transhumanistic components. We'll get into the Great Reset and the Industrial Revolution. We'll get into that more into another video. I'm just giving you a quick overview. The Great Reset is a rebrand of what we knew last decade as the New World Order. So they basically just changed the name, same things they want to do. The Fourth Industrial Revolution refers to the merging of digital, physical, and biological systems and the reliance on technological surveillance rather than the rule of law to maintain public order. The Fourth Industrial Revolution will transform not only how we live and interact, but who we are as human species. Man will ultimately be merged with machine. The sea shots may well be the very first step in this humanistic mass transformation. We've heard a lot about that. I'm not going to get into that. I'll make the internet gods mad. But you do your own research, and you come up with your own conclusion from the stuff that I heard. It's kind of why they pushed so hard for everybody to get it. The members and stakeholders of the WEF include world government leaders, corporate leaders, non-government organizations, journalists, activists, cultural leaders, and artists, all of whom which collaborate to push the WEF's technocratic transhumanistic mission forward. Okay, I'm gonna play this. This is the opening video. They played towards the beginning of the meeting. It's about 3 minutes long. It's not long. I'll play this, and then we'll just go a little bit more into who they are, you know, how they came about, and everything like that.
The world is a different place today.
We cannot ignore the global security issue that could impact millions around the world.
Without immediate action to support developing countries, inequalities and poverty will deepen, not to mention the geopolitical divide.
We're on the cusp of not only a climate catastrophe, but also an economic catastrophe.
The inflation rate soaring to its highest level in 30 years. Costs are going up everywhere.
Food, electricity, water, medicine. It's a very pressing situation.
But we're dealing with 7.8 billion people on Earth that need and rely on this supply chain system.
We are challenged by the number of people in need.
And these people are suffering in such a devastating way. They can't, how are they supposed to get through the day?
No, don't be sorry.
We all know that we're past the point of no return.
We lost 60% over to recycle, 9% of
It's really a horrifying situation, and as a world,
technological disruption.
Incredible inequality and a planetary emergency.
We've got to work together.
We have seen incredible generosity and outpouring of support. Please let this not be temporary.
Our role in this world is to make a difference, particularly those of us who are the privileged of this earth.
We have to make sure that the economy actually works for the people.
You need to have trade that allows for clean technologies that will help to save the planet.
We should focus on the skilling, reskilling, upskilling.
It takes very little power to break a fragile balance. The true power lies in putting the pieces back together again.
We all have to do it together. It's within our means.
Say bye, Grandma.
There is no place to hide. All of us leaders need to step forward and have a stand in this.
And we have to remember that.
This is a moment in time that will never come again. Let's do it.
Right now and for the future.
As you can see in there, they play a lot of what I call fear porn. They put the bad images in there. You know, the scary stuff. Same thing as they play on the news to try to get you to be scared. I mean, they're working on your emotions. They want your emotions to dictate what you do, not your brain. Okay, let's see here. The founder and executive chairman, Klaus Schwab, has emerged as the front man of the Great Reset in the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which has unmistakable transhumanistic components, or emerging biological or physical technologies in the human body. Through his speeches and books, these topics would include 2016, he wrote a book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution. 2018, he wrote a book called Shaping the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And 2020, he wrote a book, COVID-19, The Great Reset. So that doesn't tell you right there. We could do... we'll skip the New World Order because I got a whole nother section on that. I got a section on this, but I'll cover this briefly. Their talking point is, okay, their promise is, they have promise wrote in here, is by 2030 you'll own nothing. Needless to say, if the central bank can control how and when you spend your money, they can eliminate your ability to save up for large purchases such as a house or car. This is them wanting to go to the digital dollar. Let's see here. What else I want to cover? Here's the Fourth Industrial Revolution. This is where they want to make the transhumanistic movement. Anything else I want to get over? There we go. The WEF was founded in 1971. It's a family affair and family legacy. Schwab is the founder and ex officio member of the board of trustees, and only he or an immediate family member can designate his successor. In other words, the only people that will always have a seat at the table and cannot be kicked out is the Schwab heirs. It's quite interesting. This guy's got a lot of money, a lot of pull. Examples of the areas the WEF is spearheading is pulling the strings on, including global cybersecurity problems, solutions, re-engineering of the global food system, and rewriting of social contract. This is what they want to. This is where they come up with the social credit score. The education of your children, the resetting of the global monetary system, reimagining healthcare using nanotechnology and synthetic biology. These guys are sick. We all heard the green agenda. Well, the green agenda basically was invented to justify depopulation. It's sick, but there's a Club of Rome, it's called. It's a scientific think tank. Promotes global governance model led by technocratic elites. They wrote a book in 1972. It's called The Limits to Growth, that largely focused on global overpopulation, warning that if the world's consumption patterns and population growth continued at the same high rates of the time, the Earth will strike its limits within a century. In 1973, the Club of Rome published a report detailing an adaptive model for global governance that would divide the world into 10 interconnected economic, political regions. The Club of Rome was long controversial for its obsession with reducing the global population and many of its earlier policies, which critics described as influenced by eugenics. We'll cover eugenics a little bit more. You heard that term a lot during World War II, and it is still being pursued today. 1991, the club wrote the book, The First Global Revolution. It was argued that such policies could gain popular support if the masses were able to link them to an existing fight against the common enemy. Well, common enemy the club came up with is mankind. So us. The first global revolution reads, in searching for a common enemy against whom we can unite, we came up with the idea that population, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit into this bill. Let's see here. It's been quite chilling for some time to realize that climate change threat narrative was a cooked up in the late 1980s for sole purpose of being able to implement a global depopulation agenda without stirring up excessive resistance. Main funders, big funders of them, we heard Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. As disturbing as this might be, it is important not to stick our heads in the sand and pretend it's not happening. It's happening. The pandemic was used to roll out clearly transhumanist technocratic agenda, and the WEF is driving the rollout. The interesting thing I found, let's see here. For example, the world's largest meat supplier, JBS, claimed it was hit by a cyber attack in June of 21, forcing it to shut down its distributions. Well, if you look at WEF's partner list, you'll find that JBS is in fact one of its partners. What has Schwab been predicting? Cyber attacks that threaten global transportation, distribution, and food supply. What we are seeing more and more right now, cyber attacks on transportation, distribution systems, and food supply. Coincidence or predictive programming? You decide. Okay, that's about 18 minutes. I'm going to end that there, and we will start the next one. Stay tuned.